And now to unpack this matter a bit more further, we're now joined by Chief Director Examination from the Department of Higher Education and Training, and her name is Gladys Tshetlo, and she joins us via our video link. Gladys, thank you so much for joining us here on the late edition. Perhaps let's start here. Would you say that South Africa has a problem when it comes to some people falsifying their qualifications?
Good evening, Mbali. Let me start by correcting. My name is Violet, actually not Gladys.
Okay.
But yes, let me start by appreciating the opportunity for the Department of Higher Education to come to this podium and clarify some of the issues. Indeed, this country is now becoming marred by a lot of increasing fraudulent qualifications. And probably that is because of, the need and the unemployment rate that we have in the country. So yes, I do agree that we are beginning to see this phenomenon that is becoming a malpractice in our country.
And you are saying that, the trends you are seeing, that there is indeed an increase, and one would say that the high unemployment is to actually blame for that. But one would ask that some of these problems we actually see with those who are even employed, and would also know of another case in the Eastern Cape of Premier Oscar Mabuyane, which has also come to the fore. And while even when you look at the issue of Tshepo Mahanuke, he does have qualifications, but it seems as if he has, falsified a Harvard master's degree. When you look at that issue, why do you think that we continue to see a problem or an increase in those falsifying documents, even though they already have some of the entry-level qualifications?
Correct, Mbali. I would want to use the examples that you have used currently, in your previous presentation. However, what is very critical is that we are beginning to see that the citizens of our country are either desperate for promotions in some areas, for those that you have highlighted, that there are actually some of them in the employ, but in desperation would actually lead to people trying to cut corners by trying to get falsified qualifications, unfortunately not knowing that the department and the quality assurance bodies, including SAPA, have measures and systems in place to verify those qualifications. So I think to an extent, desperation and ignorance is playing in this whole platform.
And what would you say are the problems when somebody, presents or falsified documents, especially to a very crucial position like the CEO here of the JRA? If you don't have perhaps a master's degree or a PhD, and you then get employed into a position with so much responsibility, what becomes the problems there when you are employed and you actually technically don't have the rightful qualifications to carry out a job of that nature?
In the main, and I'll talk from the space where I am currently in the college sector, where we are actually issuing out qualifications, where we are basically needing skilled personnel to execute some of the functions that are really would be, improving the economy of the country. So it will definitely, Mbali, impact on service delivery. And if I'm to give an example in the space where I am, if we have to actually issue a qualification or hire an employee that is not really qualified in the engineering sector, and you put that particular graduate in the skills really that are really very important, and we're expecting that there would be improved service delivery, that would be a disaster. And that is why, as a department led by our minister and by a director general, we are really very prone in terms of putting systems in place, including our stakeholders like the quality assurance bodies. And we really deny that those kind of employees should be employed in the specialized areas particularly.
And we've also been told that some of these candidates or some of those who have been falsified, I'm sorry to refer to the story I've just said above, the issue of the JRA, we are told that he did go through a verification process. What would a verification process of qualifications look like in South Africa?
Look, we have got, and I want to latch on the verification of the local qualifications in South Africa and also the international qualifications across the board. What we have systems in place, we have SAQA that has maybe just to latch on that, the research that SAQA has actually conducted in 2018. To ensure that our qualifications are actually very, very, very proper. They have found out that out of the 1,776 that they have investigated, they found that 444 of our national, local South African qualifications were falsified, and 832 were foreign falsified qualifications. So surely our systems are working. We do also have those systems that we have put in place with the Department of Higher Education for the qualifications that we are offering. We have, as I must say, that we've got when one receives a statement or receives a certificate, that paper that we issue out as a certificate is not only a paper that can actually be duplicated. You buy a color of that particular. You can see that we have a coat of arms on top of those that we are flagging there, and we've got a watermark for our papers. If you use a magnifying glass, you'll actually see that all those security features we are able to pick up. And by just merely looking at the paper, that you can think that this is a qualified student that is presenting the certificate, then employers would then be misled. However, we have stakeholders in place, Mbali, that we are receiving on daily basis in the Department of Education. We've got verification companies like the Management Integrity Evaluators, the LexisNexis Risk Management, Corporate Verification Services, amongst others. We also have HR departments, universities, SAPA, because we're working hand in glove. Remember, we are the producers of these results. So we have these results in the system. Before a certificate can be issued, we've got as well those results. So we have to verify as to whether through security features, through those barcodes that are there, which by merely looking at the paper, you will not see them. And people are actually misled, and we are able to see those. So we've got systems in place in the country. And I must say that the public should be aware that they should not be. Please, we are actually requesting that the public should actually make use of the services that the department has put in place, and the quality assurance bodies use those spaces to actually verify.
All right, then, Violet, thank you so much for your time here on The Late Edition. That is Violet. She is the Chief Director of Examination for the Department of Higher Education and Training.